little while back, Troy and I visited a home of my relative in St. George. And the history that I learned growing up was my family history. My great, however many back grandfathers was a noble man. Not sure how to feel. He was Jacob Hamblin.
Wow!
So, I know that he had several wives. I know that I am a descendant of his first wife.
Okay.
And his first wife, when he said, I'm coming out here and I'm bringing the kids, she said, no, I'm not going, and she stayed. And I know she was a very strong person. But the history is not accurate. I know that by being here. I know that he was heavily involved. And I'm working through that.
Yeah. But that's why you're here, right? Is to clear all of that.
So as we were discussing before we went on camera, I wanted to find out what was going through your mind and what was it that drove you or you felt personally driven to stand up at the memorial and make the announcement about being a direct descendant of Jacob Hamlin. What was that all about, and how has that changed you today, since it's been a couple weeks since that event? Have things changed? Do you see your family differently? Do you look at yourself differently now? What are those things?
What I've experienced is asking that question. How did it play out? Is it real? Was it real? And I do hold the truth to let that energy go, because the feeling there was and if that energy can bring it to an easement, back in my head, trying to figure out, is this real? Did it really happen? What do I believe? Yeah, that's gone through my mind. But I look back at, how can I serve? How can I be of assistance? How can I make it easier on everybody involved?
So do you question your role? Have you, or are you very confident about who you are and what you're doing, and even though what you got to experience there, have you wavered in any way?
Not, so maybe it's a two-part answer. I know who I am and what I bring to the table and my energy. Yes. Do I question it sometimes? Yes. I haven't fully stepped into that role. I'm on my way. I believe what I've seen. I believe what I feel.
So the heaviness that you were feeling while you were there, would that have come from the energy that was there, based on the actions that had taken place, or was that heaviness personal doubt that you were feeling?
It was not personal doubt. It was absolutely the energy there. So I've actually, Troy and I had visited there before, and it was overwhelming the first time, and it hadn't changed the second time. So I'm excited to go back and see what has shifted and what else we can do to support the area.
Thank you very much.
This is Troy. He's an incredible Intuit. We're just going to say that. And so, Troy, coming up here, I know that you're picking up on a lot of the kids' energies, right?
There's a lot of children. There's a lot of adults also.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be here. Just the amount of suffering, pain, agony that's coming through to me. It's very difficult to be here.
Yeah.
I had to stop and get my composure for a minute. And once I finally, comprehended what I was seeing, the terrible deeds that happened, I felt the urge that I got to release some of these spirits, children. That's what I do, is I work with the spirit that haven't crossed over yet. So I got to just kind of use my energy and talk with them and let them know that it's okay to cross, that they won't be forgotten. And it seemed when the whole group got to that same opinion that they won't be forgotten, for me, I could see like the light open up the doorway, if that's what you want to say. And I could feel it. I could feel the love and understanding and joy from the other side. And I tried to just pass that love and joy to the people that were there. And they felt it. So they got to cross. It was terrible. And as they crossed, I got a couple other visions of just terrible things that happened there. I know it was discussed that there was boxes that looked like ammo boxes, and there was people in it. What didn't get mentioned was the fact that rather than be found out that there was people in them boxes, they burned them. And they didn't kill the people in the boxes first. They burnt alive, and I felt that, and that's a feeling I never want to feel again. It's definitely nothing I ever want to feel again.
So the number that they use, as was stated, is a so-called manageable number. Would you confirm or deny that number is not accurate?
That number is far lower than what impressions I got. That number is, I would dare say, a tenth, if that, of what I actually got to feel and understand as I stood there. It was just devastating, just completely heartbreaking to look out there and see and feel what I felt. It was very overwhelming.
And that would coincide with the government investigator that went to the so-called site 2 years later and said that looked like a war zone. I'm putting it lightly, but the scattering of all of the bones for 2 miles, that the bones were everywhere.
Absolutely. Where that monument is, you can look out over like 4 different fields that are working fields, and they're good 20, 30 acre fields. And you could almost see bodies covering the whole areas. And then as you scan off to the I guess it's the north of where we were, there was other little groups that was the same way. Like I said, it was terrible. There was. I would definitely concur with that government worker. Just like an army field, just like a great big battlefield, where both sides had great losses. Only this was just one side that had losses, and they had no chance to defend themselves.
Right.
It was terrible.
Thanks for taking a few minutes, and giving me your personal perspective on that.
That's my honor. To get the knowledge shared like I promised them is amazing. Thank you.
Okay, hi, we're back continuing our programming on the Mountain Meadows Massacre, continuing our project on the Mountain Meadows Massacre. And we have honed in on this particular location that myself, as well as a couple other, the intuitives, truly are feeling the truth that this was a sacrificial site for ceremony to, provide energy and fuel for, quite frankly, the very, very dark energy of child trafficking, human trafficking, and the funding for that organization. And what's interesting is when we spotted this site from up where the memorial site was, we didn't realize in coming down here that it was going to be clearly marked off. Now this is really interesting. So this is a standard orange stripe of no trespassing, and there's this barbed wire fence around this. And like, why? Why would these trees, this little area here, just be sectioned off? And why are the trees dead? Even though it's been long after, as all of our programming represents, that this is long after periods, timeline-wise or time-wise, that these things take place, but time holds still, or actually there is no time. And so these souls are stuck and locked in their time period, in their time. In their time reference, they're still here, having this experience. So the drumming first breaks the chains. It breaks the chains. It's like keys to shackles. And then those same rhythms are an energy frequency that souls can adhere themselves to and be carried out of this situation through the wind, through the sky, through the earth. So the energy frequency, sound frequency from drumming can literally act like a lifeline, a life preserver in a turbulent current of destruction and imprisonment. So now what I'm doing in my own mind is now we've halted that movie. Okay, that projection, that storyline is done, and now there's a whole new storyline, so I can clearly see people walking out of here free. They're whole. They're no longer severed and torn apart. They're whole and they're walking upward, so they're walking up into the current. So not only is the soul set free, but they are happy. They're making their clear, mind-free decisions as to what they're doing. So one of the other things that happens, that I'm getting, that happens, not that I would know that this happens because I do not partake in this, what I'm getting as a message is that when satanic ceremonies take place, there's drugging involved. So they'll force drug because as they're tearing the bodies apart, they kind of just lay there like they're agreeing to it. So there's very distorted minds, you know, they're heavy hallucinogens. Heavy hallucinogens are being used. So I now see them clear. Their minds are clear. They're not drugged up. And so that's a whole nother level of energy release, which is lovely. Oh boy. It's all good. It's all good. Those ceremonies, of course, aren't just about killing people. They're about taking their soul. So they take your dignity away, take the dignity away in any way they can. So there's, you know, rape and sodomy and different things like that. It's all right now. We're just passing this through. We're just passing this through. We're just passing this through me. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Mostly women and children used for sacrifice here. Now what's interesting is during this raid, we want to call it a raid and a release, there was an actual ceremony going on here. This is why the train had stopped. So this thankfully was a point of, you know, they halted what was going on here. So the people who were rescuing the people here had to with compassion, kill some of the people who were already partially torn apart out of, what do you call that, humane, to being humane, right? Right, yeah, being humane, yeah, okay. So money was also in this transport. A lot of money, a lot of gold. Oh boy, wait. Where'd that go? The money made its way back to the organization.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, there's a lot of money. Ooh, and fury over it. So here's the, of course, the ironic part is they're not even overtly concerned that the people got lost. Of course, it's the money. They just want, you know, as long as they got the money transferred, they're good. So this is that typical attitude of it doesn't matter how many are sacrificed or the remains lost, as long as that money gets transferred, they're good to go. Also, I want to extend out a blessings to the trees that have this memory inside of them, to release that energy for them into the earth. Their souls and their spirits are well as well, and this whole valley. So many times people don't understand the impact of trauma energetically for the platform that these things were performed on. So we clear earth also, and all of the elements here. As you stand here, or as I stand here, you can hear voices. I can hear voices. The murmuring and chanting of a ceremony, I can hear that. It's a you know, a ceremony going on. I can hear those voices. Thankfully now, letting those screaming voices are gone. They've stopped. They're released. So they've not been silenced, they've been released. There's a difference. So this isn't about silencing anything, this is about releasing. And so what I also feel is that the wind is also trying to get those chants out of here, those sounds out of here, blow them out of here, blow them out of here. So those have been released. But as far as usable land, this place is not usable for quite a long time. There just needs to be honor and respect held for this space. But now, movement can occur, finally, movement. The irony is, the sage that's here, and we were saying, we just light this place on fire, right, and do all the clearing that you could possibly do, forest fire. It'd be a good place for a forest fire, right? Well, so many apparitions and so many ghosts here, it's very overwhelming. I do get a very strong sense of gratitude, of alignment. So that's the energy that I feel. They have found they're aligned with their souls, they're realigned with their purpose, their intention, freedom. It feels like freedom. And a huge gratitude for the truth. The truth releases. The truth releases, especially for the voiceless. There's just so many children that were nameless, nameless, unidentifiable, no claim to value for them. And those souls now have an opportunity to be seen. We see you, we hear you, and we bless you.